Hello, my friends. This is Miss Turner, and today we are going to be learning to draw an Arctic fox. Now, I know we know some facts about Arctic foxes. We know they live in the tundra. We know they have white fur that helps them camouflage with their surroundings. And we know they have big tails that help them balance. I'm excited to use some of the facts we know about Arctic fox in our drawing today. All right. So today in our drawing, we're going to need a pencil to draw with, and you're going to need some colors. I have black, light blue, dark blue, gray, and pink. I'm using crayons to draw today, but if you have markers or pastels or something else, colored pencils that you'd rather use instead, go ahead and use those. This is your drawing. You can make it however you want it to be. All right, I'll go ahead and make my picture a little bit smaller, and we'll get started with our drawing today. So first thing, just like we always do, we're going to sketch our animal first, then color. So I'm going to start by sketching my animal's head. I always like to draw the heads first when I draw animals or people. So I'm going to start drawing my Arctic fox by drawing this kind of upside down U shape. There, this is going to be the top half of my fox's head. Oops, I'll color that in a little bit. Now I'm going to draw on the side of his face some fur sticking out, because we know Arctic foxes are furry. So I just did two kind of zigzags there, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. Zig, zig. The zigzag is a useful shape when we are drawing. Now I'll draw the bottom of his face, so I'll start where I stopped my zigzag, and draw like a U shape that connects my two zigzags. There is my bottom line. Now I get to draw ears on my fox, because I know foxes have big ears on top of their head to help them hear. So I'm going to start about maybe a third of the way up my fox's head. I'm going to draw a curved line. This is kind of going to be like a triangle, except I'm going to make my lines a little curvy, because animals don't usually have super straight lines in their bodies. They have pretty curved lines to help them move. So that's one ear. I'm going to do the same thing, like a triangle with curved lines here and down. There we go. Two ears on my fox. Go ahead and add that to your fox. Now I'm going to add some details to my fox's face. I'll start with his eyes. First, I'll draw two circles, kind of small and towards the bottom of my fox's face. I'm going to shade in most of my circle, but leave a little bit white towards the top. That will make it look like there's light shining in my fox's eyes, and it makes him look kind of cute. Now I'll draw his nose. His nose is easy as pie. It's just an upside down triangle. Super easy. And then we've drawn a lot of animals before, so you know when we draw animals, we make a shape like a J from the bottom of their nose, and then a shape like a backwards J, and that makes their cute little mouth. Now I'm going to add some details inside my fox's ears. So I'm going to draw a line that kind of follows the initial line I made to make his ear shape. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. This shows that his ear has thickness. It's not just a line, it's actually thick. And in the Arctic, it is really cold. Remember, Arctic fox's habitat is the Arctic tundra. So he's going to need some hair inside his ears to help keep those ears warm. I know my ears get cold when I'm outside. This fox needs some fur inside his ears to keep his ears warm in those freezing temperatures. So to draw that fur, I just made more zigzag shapes. Yours don't have to look exactly like mine because this is your drawing, and zigzags can look however you want. I'm going to go down now. I'm going to add some fur to my fox. So I'm going to add some fur to his chest, and I'm going to do that by making more zigzaggy shapes. So I'm just going down, up with my pencil. It's okay if yours don't look like mine because, again, this is your drawing. You can make it look how you want. All right, so there's some fur on his chest. I'm ready to draw some feet now. So I'm going to draw two straight lines first coming down. This is one leg. Now I'm going to draw another two lines coming down here. This is another leg. At the bottom of the legs, I draw the feet. So I'm going to draw an upside down U shape, kind of like an N almost. And then draw a straight line at the bottom. That's one foot. Then I'll do the same thing over here. I'll draw my line, kind of like I'm making a letter N, and do a straight line at the bottom. Oops. I made one foot a little bit smaller. I don't know if I like that. It's okay to make mistakes when you're drawing. This is why we draw with a pencil first. If you don't like how it looks, you can erase it and try again, just like I'm doing right now. So I'm going to try again, and this time I'm going to make sure I make it a little bit bigger. And then draw my straight line there. I like that better. I made a mistake, but I fixed it. Now I'm going to draw some toes on my fox. Toes are a good detail to add. Shows that we're thinking about the different parts of our fox's body. Now I'm going to draw the rest of my fox's body. I'm going to start over here. So his legs are over here on this side. So I'm going to go over to this side now by his furry chest. I'm going to draw a line that goes down, curved line down, all the way till it's about even with his feet. I'm going to take that line and curve it and make it kind of straight over to his feet. This is the side of his body. I could add another line here. This shows that he has a leg, he has another foot, but you can't see it because it's hiding behind these feet. So we don't have to worry about drawing that foot. Isn't that awesome? Now I'm going to go over to the end of his body. And I remember a fact we know about Arctic foxes is they have big tails that help them balance when they're running through the Arctic tundra. So I'm going to draw that big tail now. I'm going to start here at the kind of like the corner at the end of his body. And I'm going to draw a big curved line, kind of like a backwards S almost. Then I'm going to start again at the point of that line. And I'm going to draw his tail. Go out, then go in. I'm going to go over those lines one more time so they're nice and dark. Notice how I made my tail go all the way up, almost to my fox's ear, because his tail is really big to help him balance. Now I'm going to add some wavy lines here. This just shows that he has fur on his tail, and that fur helps keep him warm. All right, so now I have my sketch. I have my lines of my Arctic fox. Now I get to do the fun part. I get to add some color. Now, Arctic foxes are white, so I don't need to color him white because he already is white, but I can add some details with my crayons. The first detail I'm going to add is with a pink crayon. I'm going to color in his nose, and I'm going to color in his cheeks. Now, in real life, you probably wouldn't be able to see the pink in a fox's cheek, but when we're drawing, sometimes we can do things just because they make the animal look cute. So I'm adding pink just because I think it makes him look a little cuter. There, that's a cute fox. Now I'm going to add some shading. We haven't done a lot of animals with shading. So when light shines on an animal or on a person, one side of them where the light is shining is going to be lighter, like white or sometimes even yellow. You can kind of see it in my face in my little picture too. This side where the light is shining on me is lighter. The other side is going to have a shadow. You can even see that on my face. This side is darker. It has a shadow. So I'm going to use my light blue crayon, or if you don't have light blue, you could use gray to add a shadow. Now the shadow isn't going to be all over his entire face. It's just going to be a little bit on the side. So I'm going to pretend like the light is shining on this side of my fox. So on the other side, I'm going to color just a little bit of blue to show that there's a shadow where the light is not touching him as much. Really lightly, some blue. And I'm going to pretend the light is shining on this ear and it's not touching around the fur in his ear. The light is shining on the fur but not on the back of his ear. So I'm going to color that in blue to show the shadow. Then I'm going to add some shading underneath my fox's face. So I'm going to pretend the light is shining on his face, but not on his neck so much. So see, I'm not coloring his whole chest blue. I'm just coloring a little thin line, like this, just enough to be a shadow. And I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to add a little bit of blue just right next to my lines on this side of my fox's body. Not coloring his whole body blue, just a little bit for a shadow. Maybe I'll add a shadow between these two legs because these two legs are kind of up forward so the light will shine on them and there'll be a shadow in between. So I'm adding just a little bit of blue, just enough to be a shadow. There we go, there's some shadows. I'm going to add a shadow to his tail too. I'm just going to add it on this side. I'm coloring in the shadow. Alright, and there's my fox with his light blue shadow. Last thing I'm going to do is add his habitat a little bit in the background. They live in the tundra where there's a lot of snow, so I'm just going to add some wavy lines like snow drifts that my fox is sitting in. And again, I can add some shadows. I'm using my dark blue to do this, but you could also use your black or your gray, your choice. And I'll make a shadow under where he's sitting. And the last thing I'll do is I'll add some snowflakes. And you can use purple, you can use blue, you can use gray. I'm going to use black to do my snowflakes. When I draw a simple snowflake, I draw an X, then a line through it. An X, then a line through it. An X, then a line through it. Maybe I'll do one over here. An X, then a line through it. If you're still working on your drawing, you can take a minute to add some more snowflakes to your Arctic fox. But we are all done drawing our Arctic foxes. Great job, my friends. I can't wait to see what you've drawn. See you later.